Hey yo, what's good? It's Hanani, and I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard.
20 bands stuffed under the bed. I got 20 bands stuffed under the bed.
All right, y'all. We got East Arlington's finest. We got East Arlington's finest. Hanani jumping off the porch with us today.
Nah, for real. What's poppin'? How you doing? What's good?
I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. From the plane to the porch, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you're going to be the second one from East Arlington. That's when we had Splurge.
Hey.
Okay, yeah. So now it's you here. And shit, we can't wait to chop it up with you.
Nah, thanks.
So we got to take it back to the roots. Like, for those who don't know about East Arlington and the culture there, you got to break it down for us.
Okay, so East Arlington to me, because I went to Bowie, but I graduated, and Bowie is like on the south side. So as a kid growing up, it was one of those places that was, you kind of had to, it was like, how do I explain it? I'd say it was rough, but at the same time, you know, you had your people. So
yeah.
When I grew up, like, I had my little clique that I hung around with, and growing up in the east side of Arlington, I feel like everybody kind of thinks when you hear Arlington, you're like, oh man, it's just Arlington, it's sweet, it's this, and that. But you gotta understand that like people from LA, like people from out of town migrated.
Like Louisiana,
exactly.
New Orleans.
I remember when Katrina popped.
Oh, I remember that shit.
Everybody from Louisiana came here. So Arlington is not just Arlington, a suburb, it's a melting pot. So it's different people, different backgrounds, you know what I mean? And I think that's where people get it misconstrued, like, oh man, you just from the suburbs. There's so many different people that live in Arlington.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, the east side of Arlington is really who made me, you know, the person I was. Like,
yeah.
It made me, I guess, the man I am today. Just, you know, they're gonna some people gonna test you. That it is what it is. And when I used to come to the city, when I used to, you know, go play basketball at Atherton or go to Hugh Smith, like I was always different. You know what I mean? I was always just wearing like dirty Vans, wearing like short shorts and hooping. And niggas be like, bro, who is this? Who is this? But, you know, every time I went to the courts and shit, you know, I made a name for myself just hooping or just being a solid individual.
Yeah, let's talk about that transition, like hooping, playing sports, like graduating, and now we're pursuing music. And you've been pursuing music for a long time. Like, you've been at this game for a minute, and not too many people can say that. So just in total, like, just a background, how long would you say you've been at it for?
So the reason why I started doing music was I had a son on the way, and I was just going through a lot of situations, just life journeys, you know what I mean? And one of my homies, Chris Minor, shout out to Chris, he sent me a beat and he was like, man, you know, I think you could do something with it. And I was like, bro, I'm not a rapper. Like,
shout out to Chris though. I love Chris. Shout out to him.
Nah, shout out Chris Minor, man. To this day, he's one of the reasons why I can say that I do music. You know what I mean? Because without that, I went to school for fashion design. I went to Texas Tech University, and I was just trying to be a fashion designer. I didn't want to do anything else. And then he sent me that beat. I made a song, and he was like, bro, this is tough. Like, I feel like if you just keep on working with it, that you could get somewhere. And like, you know, I made songs like Perfect Love, Eastside, and the ball just kept on rolling.
Oh, Eastside. Speaking of Eastside, that shit went so crazy. Let's talk about that and how, like, I would say, would you say that was like the start of how your career started really taking off after you dropped Eastside?
Yeah, I would say Perfect Love and Eastside. Perfect Love was more, I guess, in a sense, commercial. Like, that was the first one that went. We did 1 million streams on that. Eastside, we put it on World Star, and that one I felt like was a city song that people from the city could gravitate towards. You know what I mean? I put all the monuments of the East Side in there.
Yeah.
And just having people, you know, it was one of those songs that you can think back and be like, oh, I do remember playing basketball by that court. Or I do remember this, or I do remember, you know, all these 3-letter click gangs, CGC, FYC, all these, you know what I mean? Like things that, CSB, like, yeah, CSB, everything. It was like, these are, like, I'm talking about stuff in the song that if you was in Arlington, you knew, you know what I mean? You knew Terrence Tucson, you knew Lil Jesse, like you knew Parfait, and these are, you know, things that, you know, these songs help them live on forever, you know what I mean? So I definitely.
Dang, you know what's crazy? I always be thinking about Jesse and Parfait, like they.
Nah, yeah, them boys was cut up for
Arlington
real.
legends, you already know.
Them boys cut out, like, they always got videos of them like jigging and just being inspirational. It's not even just about the jigging, it's just, you know, they was the inspiration to the city for real.
Yeah. And even talking about the city, would you say, like, coming out of Arlington and dipping in music, would you say it takes a little longer for people to wake up to artists in the city?
Oh man, so this is a question always, because I feel like we never really get our just due. Like when I talk about Arlington, I think of myself as Arlington just in the fact of how I was raised. So I was like I was the middle child, right? And you know, I think of Dallas as like the bigger brother, Fort Worth like the bigger brother, and Arlington was always that little brother trying to like make a name for themselves. Like we had Agtown fights, we was doing all these little things to try to get ourselves known. And then, you know, throughout the years, we ended up making a name for ourselves to net. Like back in the day, if you was like, you from Arlington, you'd be like, what? Like where, huh? And you would just have to say Dallas just so niggas could understand like, we 20 minutes away from Dallas. And we like, oh, okay. Nowadays you say Arlington, they be like, oh yeah, I know.
Niggas know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they know it's not just sweet, you feel me? It's an actual city, and you know, we made a name for ourselves, which, you know, back then it was always, we had to say that we was related to our bigger brother just so people would, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about, or, you know, this like that. So it's hard in a sense because I feel, and just in the Dallas area, you know, everybody always says that, you know, my people say, man, I feel like if you went to LA or if you went to here, bro, it'd be so quick. But the reason why I'm still in Arlington and just in the city is because I feel like you have to take over your city before you try to tackle anything else.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the real roots, is like making sure that you take over the city before you try to go over here or go over there. Because once you're solidified in the city, then shit, your name gonna carry.
And that's a fact. And going back to you and your journey, how would you describe it?
It's definitely a long one, because I remember first making a song and being like oblivious to like, oh, I'm finna put this shit on SoundCloud, we finna be lit, it's up. Put the first song on SoundCloud, no. You know what I mean? Like, you got, depending on who, you gotta know that there's steps to the situation, and that's how my music ended up growing, because, you know, I put that first song on SoundCloud, it didn't do what I expected, and instead of me just being like, you know what, all right, let me go ahead and do something else, I stuck to it. You know, I started researching blogs. Okay, let me reach out to this blog, because what you gotta understand is, if you making good music, you're doing their job for them. If you're showing them music that they like or they think is good, they're gonna put it on there because you're doing their job for them. So I would literally take out like an hour, 2 hours out of my day, look up all the blogs, look up who's running them blogs, and just send it out. Just literally just do a mass send and just keep going from there. And then it's like, okay, what else, you know, what other avenues can I reach to make the music grow? And then from there, you know, once you start doing that, people will reach back and like, oh, have you dropped anything? Is there anything you want? And then they'll come to you instead of you having to blow them up. So like, I feel like a lot of people kind of, you know, want to take the easy route. Oh, it didn't work out, let me go ahead and hop on something else. Like, no, if this is something you want to do, you got to stick to it and, you know, make those measurements and take those steps.
Now, I do want to ask you, what would you say has been like the hardest thing pursuing music?
I would say knowing you lit, like knowing you tight, or knowing that you make good music, and knowing like other people know you make good music and you feeling like you're not where you should be, and you looking over at something else, being like, I know I make better music than that person, or I know I could wrap circles around this person, or I know my shit's better. But it's like, you can't, because that's what I feel like a lot of people do, is like, they'll see like an artist and be like, but that nigga ain't shit, but that nigga not me though. You gotta understand your journey. You feel me? Nobody can derive you from your journey unless you do it. You know what I mean?
Damn, yeah.
That's that. I really feel, cause you know everybody. This is one of those generations where everybody wants to compare and try to be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like he doing like if no one can take, it's your car, you driving the car. You feel me? If you feel like that's your destination, only you can take yourself to that destination. You don't want to hop in somebody else's car because you're gonna go to their destination. You gotta follow what you believe in. So I feel like that's one of the things. You just gotta look to yourself instead of looking at other people.
Now, outside of pursuing music, you are also a designer and you're a teacher. I want to dive into teaching right now because how is that? I ain't gonna lie, I be seeing the kids on
for real. It's funny. It's funny because one, I never in my life thought I was gonna teach. So it's crazy. Like, and I teach at Sam Houston, so I teach on the East Side.
Oh, you're teaching high schoolers?
Yeah. Nah, we teach high school, and I teach. So I started off in the beginning teaching geometry, which was hella funny because it was like, bro, like I'm cool, I'm good with math, but just the fact that like some of the shit I had to relearn. Yeah. So like it'd be times where like I would be learning the lesson. Like in the morning, I'd have like a conference period. I would learn the lesson on my conference and then teach it like second period, third period, fourth. Because you know, second period, third period, fourth period. Once you teach it once or twice, it's like automatic. You know what I mean? But I literally had to learn some of the shit, like relearn it, and then go back and teach it. So it was crazy. And then from there, they had me do fashion design, which was mad easy because that was my major. Yeah. So. It's you know, and some of the kids know that I make music and stuff. So So like they'll listen to my music and they're like, bro, I didn't know you was on World Star, this and that. So it's crazy.
I didn't know you was on World Star.
For real, so but to me, I think it's good because one, I always look at it. I always want to do something to that aspect because I grew up, that's literally where I grew up. And it's funny because some of the kids don't know because they'll be like, oh man, you don't know what we've been through. I'm like, bro, trust me, I used to live right behind this school.
Your students are gonna see you on the porch and be like, hey,
for real, man.
You was on the porch.
Exactly. You know what, real quick, man, shout out Sam Houston, man. Shout out Bowie too, because that's where I graduated from. So, you know, shout out all the Arlington schools, man. Shout out Sam Houston, man. Got to.
From your observation, teaching now in this generation,
So teaching now is crazy because like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I be feeling like I'm asking for the bare minimum, but they think you asking for a lot. And I be like, man, like, you know, just like simple, like, nah, hey man, you know, we taking the test, I need you to put your phone up. Bro, why
I was just gonna ask you about
the phones is crazy. You gotta remember when we was in school, you had that phone out, that joint was getting taken up. It's a wrap for the phone.
You're paying
your mom,
$35.
you're paying $35. Your mom is coming, and my mom, she'd be like, "Oh, you're good. Like you can wait till the summer and get it back when they giving all the phones back. But if you want it then and there, you're good. You're done for the day. You know what I mean? Now you can't even like tell a student to take, hey, I'm finna take your phone. Say it's not going for it. So it's definitely different. I feel like we're just in a different era. You know what I mean? I feel like we're a little more lackadaisical, and that's probably something that, you know, just over time, because I feel like, you know, a lot of the kids, if you tell them something, it's like, you know, back then a grown up tell you something, yes ma'am. Even if you ain't want to hear it, you want something, yes ma'am, yes sir. Now you can tell. I remember I was at the school and one of the kids, like this lady was like, sir, I just need you to get to your class. He started cussing her out. I was like, yo, that's what we not finna do. Like this lady just trying to, you know, look out for you. But you know, I feel like with this generation, it's more of they so quick to like snap back at something. It's like it don't even call for that. Sometimes you just gotta bite that bullet. Yes, ma'am. You older, bow, let it rock, and then just be on your way. You know what I mean? Kids nowadays, they ain't got that, bro. They want all the smoke. They want every
they
part
do
of
want
it.
all the smoke, but what would you tell kids now when it comes to life and how to view life? Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the youngest, they're a little out of touch with reality, is mainly because of social media.
No, that's a fact. So this is what I want to tell people who want to pursue music or want to be creative. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be creative. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make music, be a rapper, whatever. But I feel like a lot of people don't understand there's nothing wrong with having a regular job or a couple regular. This is how I feel. This is me personally. I make music. At different points in my career, I kept 3 jobs. But see, the thing that people don't understand is if you're gonna keep a job, or if you want to do it the right way, get jobs that make sense to what you're trying to do. So with me, I got a job that helps me. I can travel around the world and go to where I need to go. I teach, so I'm not out here telling kids to listen to my mixtape, but I'm just in the view of the consumer. You get what I'm saying? So that age range. And then, like, I used to work at Neiman's. Like, when I work at Neiman's and Prada, like, that one helps me talk to clients who have access to money, or like athletes and things like that, so I could talk to them. But it get that discount, what you mean? So the drip is complete. So it's always good to make sure that if you want to be, whatever you're trying to do, that it makes sense. Like if you want to be a chef, then obviously you get a job in a restaurant, right? So if you want to do music, do things that would make sense to help you on that journey. You know what I mean?
And Hanani, are you still independent?
Yeah, I'm still independent, and it's crazy because a lot of people don't understand. They wonder how I do some of the things that I do without being independent. It's just, like I said, you have to do your due diligence. You gotta do your research. You gotta, you need to go out there and talk to these people. And like I said, because I'm able to travel to these different places, I'll go out to LA and meet the person. Like because the thing what people don't understand is, if you can always hit somebody in the DMs, hey, we should work this. Oh yeah, cool. And it's so easy to brush off somebody, online. It's harder to brush off somebody in person. Like if I pull up to you and be like, hey, remember we supposed to work? You're more reluctant to be like, oh well, shit, the niggas in my face right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's and then after that, actually follow up with that situation. Like, oh, let's go do dinner here and chop it up and see how we can actually make something happen. And that's why I've been able to, be able to do the things that I do.
I thought you were signed. Like the way you move, I'm pretty sure a lot of people think you signed because the way you move.
Nah, yeah, like we had a meeting with Sean Cotton at cause they doing 99 overall, and that was one of the first things he said. He was like, bro, I thought you was signed, bro. Like I'm seeing you feel me? I'm seeing you from the block. I'm seeing you do this. I'm seeing you do that, and I'm just like, he's like, bro, how are you doing these, these things? How you getting like Westside Boogie on a song? How you getting these people? And it's like, well, me personally, I try to make sure that I have something to offer these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just, because what a lot of people want to do is like a handout. Like, hey, why would Drake ever want to do anything with me if I'm not helping him in any way? You know what I'm saying? So with me, I find out things that I'm good in. So I did a K-Camp show. The next day, I gave K-Camp one of my designs, a shirt that I made. He wore it literally the next day. Because one, it's a good design, but these are things that you have to, if there's something that you can do that others can't, that's how you have to offer your services for niggas to be like, okay, bet, I can rock with him here, and then it's like, okay, now you can call back that favor. Hey, remember when hey, you think you could do this for me? You just can't go into a situation with an open hand with no plate. You know what I mean?
That part right there.
That's what a lot of people, get that misconstrued. You gotta have something to offer before you out here asking for anything.
Right. And I know you mentioned Westside Boogie earlier, so what was that like working with him?
It was an amazing opportunity. We worked on a song together, and then I also we did a show together as well. And that was and that's gonna be on the new album as well. So the new album, Sorry I Missed Your Call, and not too many people know about that, but the new album gonna be called Sorry I Missed Your Call. He's gonna be on it. And it was a pleasure working with him, and I can't wait for y'all to listen to the song.
I'm excited to hear that because your artistry already is crazy, and of course Westside Boogie's is crazy. So I know y'all two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, we definitely killed that joint. And the song is called More Than Friends, produced by Chris Minor. You feel me? Yeah. So Chris, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be dope. And this new project, where would you say you really pulled motivation from with it?
So with this project, I called it Sorry I Missed Your Call for a couple reasons. One, because I felt like in life, we're always like too busy. Like the main thing that came from this album was, I remember thinking like, if I was late to work and I left my phone at home, I know for a fact I would turn around. I don't care what you don't care what the reprimand would happen for you being late to work, but you know for a fact you just gotta have your phone. It's like, damn, like, what would it feel like if I didn't have my phone and I just went through the day without my phone? Like, what would the messages be like if I didn't have my phone? Like, what would people be telling me just because I didn't have it with me? And with this album, it kind of talks about that. Like, it's gonna talk about one of my homies, 17, who is locked up, but he coming soon. He coming out soon. Like him hitting me and me not being able to answer, and you know the conversations that he has. So there'll be conversations, you know, on the album, like voicemails, where you get to hear what people would be saying when you're not picking up the phone.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an introspective thing. Like, dang, you know. What it would be like if you just, for the day, just put your phone down and just went through life without your phone, and then came back to it, and you would just see like everybody blowing you up, thinking something's wrong.
That's dope as hell. I love your artistry because it's like real life storytelling and it's creative.
Yeah, like one of the things that I always wanted to do was, because Biggie was one of my favorite rappers, and he is big on storytelling. And my thing is, when I make songs, if you're able to close your eyes and like understand it or see a movie in your mind, that's my job is done. Like that's how I feel like songs should inhabit a person's body or mind. Like, you should be able to, because to me, when I listen to music, it's a timestamp. Like, if I hear like Mariah Carey's Fantasy, like I remember me like at 8 years old, my mom cleaning and shit. You know what I mean? It's like these little moments that go into your mind that you're like, damn. Like, music is the closest thing we have to a time machine, is what I say. Because once you hear it, it takes you right back to the spot you heard it, and it's like, damn. I feel like a kid again. I'm not, but I feel like a kid again.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for that. I know it's gonna be fire, and congratulations when it drops. It's up and stuck.
Nah, that's a fact. You know, the first album, the first EP we did was 26 on the chart. So this one we want #1 on this one.
Okay, you better manifest it on this porch.
Nah, that's fact.
Now next month you're performing at Afro Festival.
Yes.
Are you excited? How you feeling?
Nah, I'm very excited. We're doing the Blast Fest in Seattle, so very excited for that. We got some Afrobeats inspired songs that we got coming out as well. So we are not playing like we have this coming out, and then like I said, August, September is when the album's coming out. So, you know, we're just trying to do as much as we can this summer just to, you know, get ready for this album and this release.
Now, before we wrap up, what more do you want to accomplish? You can name like 3 things. We're not gonna go too crazy.
Nah, of course. So one of the things I want to with my brand, you know, I'm starting my brand Awaka. It's gonna be like a namesake brand, kind of like a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci, and that's, you know, getting that off the ground. But, you know, first, foremost, you know, we gotta get the music sold up, you know what I mean, before we start branching out to other things. So I definitely wanna, you know, get this album going, the visuals as well, and, you know, just create a project. My whole thing is to create an experience. It's not, because a lot of, you know, nowadays, you know, people put these fast albums out and then it lives for a day or a week and then it dies out. Like, I'm trying to create an experience that you can, you know, listen to and enjoy for, you know, years and, you know, go back to these type of albums. That's why I work so hard when I create these projects. It's not just something, oh, I'm finna create it in 4 months. It's things that take a span of time. So definitely that, and then, you know, making sure my family's good. That's all I care about. Making sure my family's good, and, you know, with the music, we're gonna make it happen.
How do you balance being a teacher, pursuing your music career, and also being a designer?
It's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard just because, you know, I wear so many hats, and then you can even throw in being a dad with that. Like, it's just so it's so many hats, but you kind of have to learn how to juggle them. It's literally the perfect juggling effect. Like, you're working on one, like, let's say I'm working on music. I'm working on music so hard that you notice something falling, and then you're like, okay, bet. And then it's literally the hardest thing you have to do. But, you know, when these are things that you love, you know, you find a way. That, like with me, I try to at least tackle one thing a day. So I'll say, all right, today I'm gonna make a song. The next day I'm gonna make an outfit. The next day I'm doing this. But still, you know, incorporate, obviously being a dad 24/7, you know what I mean? And designing 24/7. So it's just being, because this is one thing about music and fashion. They're, to me, the same. So I look at fashion as the fabric, right? The fabric would be, to me, a beat, right? That fabric could be made to a hat, pants, a shirt. That same beat could be made to a happy song, a country song, you know what I mean? It's however you feel is whatever you produce. So if I'm feeling like making some pants, I'm making pants. If I feel like making a happy song, I'm gonna make a happy song. Or if I feel like making a country song, a rap song, or rock song, it's all about the feeling. So it's easy when I feel like they're intertwined, you know what I mean? Because I look at them the exact same way.
Shit, you broke that down perfectly. And before we officially wrap up, you got any last words or shout outs?
Gotta shout out my kids, man. Christiana Zion, you know Daddy got you, you feel me? And then Sam Houston, my brother, JR and Lance, young Kev in the building, you feel me?
Shout out to Kev.
Exactly, man. And hold on, Icon Studios, they do all my visuals. Branford, my man Selassie and Bobby. If I didn't have them, my videos wouldn't be fire. And Super Miles, cause that boy make the beats.
All right, and that's a wrap for Hanani.
20 bands stuffed under the bed. I got 20 bands stuffed under the bed. 20 bands stuffed under the bed.